This is Eat, Sleep, Invest, the marketing podcast for real estate investors to get more deals. Hey, welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Eat, Sleep, and Invest. I'm your host, Bryan Driscoll. I'm here with JD Sustar. What's going on, man?
What's up, Bryan? Thanks for having me.
Hey, thanks for coming on. All right, so you're down in North Carolina. You say North Carolina or South Carolina?
South Carolina. I'm close to the Georgia and North Carolina line, so close enough.
All right, cool. So interesting. So you're what, 31 years old, right?
Yep.
And you got into real estate when?
2018, so I'd have been, I guess, 27 at the time. We bought our first rental. I actually flipped a property in 2015 using private money, and it was in a different town. It was a disaster, but it was a good learning experience, and it sent me back to the drawing board to dig in and learn a little more before I took the next plunge in 2018.
Yeah, and that's solid too, because I know a lot of people don't get a jump start that early. You know what I mean? A lot of people are in their 30s, 40s, just getting into it, man. You got a way head start, which is awesome.
Yeah, no, it was nice. My best friend got into real estate as soon as we got out of college. And so he was kind of the one who was pushing me all along. Hey, you got to get in, you got to start dabbling. And then my father-in-law, he had bought more land, but it's technically real estate. And, he just kind of reiterated to me, hey, it's a good thing to get in, And so between those two guys, I took their advice. And you look at history, I mean, majority of people who've done well for themselves own real estate in some form or fashion. And so, we went all in with it. And I was scared as crap, bought the first one in 2018, and then we scaled, and we're still buying today.
That's pretty solid. So you have a rental property portfolio, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you do rentals. What do you do? Flip? You wholesale? Give me a little background.
Yeah, so we pretty much are buying rentals. So our sweet spot is B2C class neighborhood, single family homes, 3-bed, 2-bath, 3-bed, 1-bath, maybe 2-bed, 2-bath. And that's kind of been our sweet spot. Now, since we started, that's how we built our foundation of properties. And then, we branched out. I had an opportunity to buy into a mini mobile home park. There were 7 mobile homes on it. And we bought it because the cash flow is great. And then I also dabbled in the Airbnb space. There's a place we vacation in Charleston, South Carolina called Seabrook Island. It's a gated community, super nice, $1 million homes all over the island. And I found the worst houses in the best neighborhood. And I bought my first one in 2019 at $185,000. I bought the second one 2 years later at $285,000, and just sold that second one this year for $460,000. After holding it 1 year, and I still have the original one I bought. So that's kind of a look of our portfolio. And so we don't do much wholesaling at all. If I find a good property and I'm not able to buy it for whatever reason at the time, I'll assign a contract. And then flipping, I've flipped probably 5 or 6 homes. It's just I still work a W-2. And so I don't need the capital right now. When you're flipping, you're trying to generate income. And so I'm looking more to build that long-term wealth. And that's what we do with the Finance Cowboy brand, is we kind of teach that everyday person who has a family, who has a job, hey, you don't have to do real estate full time to still reap the benefits of it. And we live that out.
Yeah, that's pretty solid. I'm a little bit similar. I do the buy and hold, same strategy. And the same thing, I don't need the cash. Like, I've never sold a property in my life. It's more pushing money to the future, which is interesting. Now,
exactly.
So you say you have a full-time job. Why do you still have the job?
I absolutely love it, man. I sell medical equipment, and I'm in the pre-hospital space. So I hang out with EMTs and firefighters all day, and I make really good money. So it took me a while. It's sales. I absolutely love sales, and it took me a while to get here. I had to pay my dues. Came out of college making $45,000, driving a box truck around at Centos. Then moved into pharmaceutical sales, then medical equipment. And I love my boss. I love my team. I love the corporation. And I make a good income. So I got no reason to hop on the phone and cold call all day to try and wholesale and flip properties, because what I already have is a lot easier than doing that. So I'm not going to, the grass isn't always greener.
Yeah, you know what? And that's true too, because if you make good money at your job, you like your job, take that money and just push it into real estate and start building something.
Exactly. And that's what we've done.
Now, question for you. When you went for the job interview, what were you wearing?
Did you see my video the other day? I did. I went in, man. I made a post on this on my Instagram. I went in and I had a blazer on, khakis, and a cowboy boots. And, I was pretty much overqualified for this job, and I'd been interviewing for a couple different jobs. It wasn't with this company, the one that this happened to. But anyways, I go in, crush the interview, hit it off with them, and I get back to my house the next day. The recruiter emails me, and it was essentially like, they love you, you did a great job, but then he like roasted me for what I wore. He's like, don't ever show up to an interview with just a blazer, no tie, khaki pants, and boots on. You need to dress more professional. And so I sent a snarky, response back. I was real young at the time too. I was probably 24, 23, 24, and I had a lot more zest. I was ready to rock and roll back then. I sent him a nasty email, told him I no longer need his services, and ended up not going with that company, but with the company I'm at now, who, I wore the same thing to that interview, and they love me and they pay me, whatever, 3-4 times more than what the other ones were going to. So it all worked out.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting. I was watching that because a lot of people they always try to fit in. It's like, oh, I gotta do this. I gotta fit in. I gotta look normal, stuff like that. And most people aren't just themselves. Like, they don't have to be themselves.
Exactly. And you don't want to be a slob. Like, I got roasted on that post. Some people say, this is terrible advice. You should always dress to the best. And there's an argument for that. I'm not here to tell anybody how to dress. I mean, let's be serious here. But I'm me, and I was looking for an employer who wanted JD. So, I found one.
Yeah, no, that's cool. I like that. So now you have on your Instagram page where I saw that post, you're educating people and pretty much just giving them free tips, right? Like on how they can do this in their life. Like what all do you have going on there? And why'd you start that channel?
Good question. It's a funny story. It started in July of 2021. I have a family member who is a good bit older than me. Not too much older, but he's older than me. And he's a little more, put together, clean cut, and very educated, highly educated. He's like 3 steps down from a CEO at a large hospital system here in the U.S. And I started buying real estate in 2018, and it was like I saw what it was doing to our lives. Like it was changing our lives. And I was telling everybody, I'm like, man, our net worth's growing. We got cash flow. And so I'm talking to this family member, and I'm like, dude, you got to get into real estate because I know you're making good money. And he would always just blow me off. I don't really know if JD knows what he's talking about. He's a little more rough around the edges. I'm going to stick to my 401k. That's it. And so, I just gave up. I was like, whatever. Well, in June of 2021, he started sending me posts from a 26-year-old on Instagram who had 30,000 followers and was teaching people to invest in index funds. And because this guy had 30,000 followers, he had now convinced my highly educated family member to now invest in index funds. This guy's never invested in anything really outside of his 401k and some land. And now he's buying index funds because of a 26-year-old with clout. And so number one, like, it pissed me off. It made me mad. I'm like, why? Like, stop sending me this crap. I'm not buying index funds. I don't have anything against them, but I'm doing well with real estate. And then I was like, after I got over the shock, I'm like, dude, I'm going to go try this. Like, what? I have experience. Like, I have a cool story to tell. I bought real estate and invested in 401k and have kids and college plans. And so that's Finance Cowboy was born. It was actually under another name, the Million by 30 Coach, because we had, reached millionaire status before 30. And I was like, that's a little niche. And so I'd just been thinking, what's a good name? And for weeks, and I was putting boots on one night, and I was like, Finance Cowboy. And I rolled with it. And I used to talk a lot more about just personal finances in general, and I still do. But it was interesting. The market on Instagram actually pushed me to more real estate. I would talk about real estate very vaguely, and then I'd get a lot of comments and messages saying, hey, can you talk more about that? Can you teach me about this? And so, I really dove into the real estate space.
That's pretty cool. And yeah, and especially, hey, congrats to achieving millionaire status by 30.
Yeah, man, I appreciate it. It was a fun little road, a lot of stress too, but it was, I look back now and we're smooth selling at 31. It was a good, some good sacrifices.
Yeah. Now, so whenever you hit the status, did the skies open up? What was the feeling?
What, when I hit the millionaire status? No, heck no. It was, just another day. And I'll tell you, I think we all fight this, but I'm trying to be really intentional to enjoy the journey. I have learned that much. I have learned throughout the years that it isn't the destination that is what is fulfilling. Because as soon as you get there, then you're going to have another goal. And so you may celebrate it for a day, but you just kind of skip over it. And so, trying to be really intentional, enjoying every day, That's where I find, most of the fulfillment. So was it a cool achievement? Yes. Is it cool to talk about on podcasts and social media? Yes. But I don't just have, stacks of cash sitting next to me. You can't just go access it today. It's tied up in assets. But it is cool to see the work paying off. After saying all that, it's really cool to see the work pay off, because there's, sacrifice that goes with it. When you're going to do something at a young age like that, there's going to be sacrifice. And so we lived in the modest home. We drove beaters. We did not, had no consumer debt, didn't buy anything fancy when everybody else is, buying boats and four-wheelers. And then I'm not fixing up my house nice. And people are coming in who know I make good money. And they're like, why aren't, you need to redo your kitchen. You need to put new floors down. And I'm just ignoring the noise, living frugal, and investing every single dime we had into real estate. And we only did it for about 4 to 5 years. Now we're still doing it, but we started 4 to 5 years ago. And we take a step back now, and the net worth has grown to close to 2 million. Now we live in a large house on 11 acres, and we have the swimming pool. I got the tractor, and it's like, yeah, because my assets are now paying for this lifestyle. And so, it was definitely worth the sacrifice, and it's been an interesting journey.
Yeah, and it's important. It's good that you bring that up too, because I always look at the same thing too. I'm like me, once I hit a goal, it's like, okay, on to the next. Like the goal, there's no celebration. And I always take a step back too and tell myself, hey, enjoy this. Enjoy even getting punched in the face, because you're going to look back and be like, boy, it'll pass you so quick.
Yeah.
And because hitting the millionaire status, it's like you think it's going to be something that's like, okay, like it is what it is. Let's do the next thing.
Let's keep going. You're exactly right. Spot on.
Now, so whenever you were living frugal, like how did you do it? So explain to people. So explain to the people that are working, making decent money, 9 to 5 in their jobs. How did you section off? Okay, this is the amount I'm going to live on. I'm not going to live on 100% of my income. How'd you determine that? And then also pretty much roll with it to accumulate the assets to invest them into real estate.
Well, I think you got to look at the full picture. I came out of college in 2013, so I've been working since 2013. And I just told you guys I didn't buy my first rental till 2018. So something was going on in those 5 years. What was going on? Well, I was getting my finances cleaned up. I had student loan debt. I had a truck payment that we sold and got out of eventually. I had my wife's ring. I had $10,000 in credit card debt. And so what I decided to do was, for those 5 years, I attacked all that. And I did, the debt snowball, started with the smallest debt and worked our way to the largest. And we got all of our consumer debt out of the way. At that point, we went and we built except for our home mortgage. I don't consider that consumer debt, but just want to clarify, we still had our home mortgage. And so once all the consumer debt was cleared up, we went and got 3 to 6 months of emergency funds saved. I probably sat around 4 months, to be honest. So we probably had around 4 months saved. And at that point, it was like, okay, we don't need any more cash. Okay. And so you can make that decision of like, all right, now we just have extra cash because we don't have any more debt and we got our emergency fund. So what are we going to do with it? Are we going to go waste it? Or are we going to go spend it fixing up the house and buying the toys? Or are we going to go invest it? And we chose to go invest it. And then it was choosing, okay, what are we going to invest in? And there's a lot of different options. You got stocks and index funds. People invest in crypto. But I decided real estate. And again, I had people in my ear, which is part of why I do what I do on Instagram. I'm the guy in people's ears, like somebody was in my ear, pushing them towards that. And, it was time to go, after... I guess jumping back to your question, you asked about living frugal. For us, it was just making that decision of, hey, we have this extra money now. We have our emergency fund in place. The debt's gone. Now what are you going to do with it? It's easy you can just eat, eat, pay your bills, live a happy life, be fulfilled, and then just go invest the rest. And that's what we did without needing all the extra fluff or the luxuries.
That's solid too. The debt snowball. For anyone who doesn't know, explain to them the debt snowball, how that works.
Yeah, so I think there's 2 methods, right? Tell me if I'm wrong. They got the debt snowball and the debt avalanche. I believe the snowball, what we did, I think it's called the debt snowball, is we just took the smallest debt we had and we paid it off first. And then we took the money that we used to pay it off plus any extra that we had and rolled that into the next largest debt. And then we paid that one off, and then we started using that money to pay the next largest debt. And so you have all this extra money that you now have freed up that you're now throwing into these debts, and it helps pay them off quicker over time. Now, some people go at it and they attack the one with the highest interest rate first. I guess you could do either. The snowball worked for us because it helps with those small wins, right? You get rid of that small debt first. It's done. You feel good about yourself. You got some momentum. Now let's carry this to the next debt. And it really, really propelled us to get the job done.
Yeah, I like the snowball better too. Yeah, because some people are going after high interest. It's like, now go after the lowest one, pay it off free and clear. Then you feel like the man. Then do it again, take that money, put it into the next one, and keep snowballing it. Yeah, because that's smart. You get you out of debt really fast.
Yep.
And you don't start overspending. Like normally people will pay off their car and then they have an extra $500 a month or whatever to go blow. This gives it a place to put it. So you don't keep raising your living expenses.
Yeah, you just pretend like you don't even have it. It's not yours.
Yeah. What made you think about that, man? You're pretty young to be knowing all this kind of stuff.
When I got married, I graduated college in 13, got married in 14. We took Dave Ramsey's class like a month after we got married. So I love Dave Ramsey. There's things I don't agree with him with. Obviously, I got millions of dollars of loans on real estate. He would say, don't do that. I disagree with him there. But as far as like building a good foundation for financial stability, especially at a young age, I got to give it to him. He helped put us in the right trajectory, changed our lives. And, we would listen to his podcast riding down the road when we were younger, just followed the steps. And you look and it's like, oh, wow, it worked. We're in a good financial position and now it's time to invest. And I'm glad we did it at such a young age. Most people don't.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, especially, because a lot of people just keep getting into debt and then it's so much, it's overwhelming, you know? So yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because that's interesting. So now you're launching a course that you're going to show people and teach people how to do what you're doing, right?
Exactly. I have been working for months and months and months and months on this course all morning until I hopped on with you. I literally sat on the couch for like 20 minutes before I got on this and just like closed my eyes just to regroup before I hopped on here. And as soon as we get off, I'm going to hop on it and do it some more. But it's actually, you can call it a course / coaching / mentorship for people who want to learn to buy rental properties. And so there'll be 15 plus hours of recorded modules, and then we will hop on calls with each other regularly to talk through different strategies, to do Q&As. I'll teach on different subjects. We'll bring people in. There's a ton of different resources, and then the community aspect of it is huge because you meet other investors, you can get connected in other markets. And so I'm really excited about it. I'm really, really excited about it because like you mentioned earlier, I give so much free content out on Instagram. The problem with it is it's 30-second to a minute and a half clips. And so I can only go so deep on any subject without giving a lot of examples. Well, then I get a ton of DMs and a ton of questions, want me to go deeper. And so I'll do the best I can, but it's, as you know, real estate's, it's a complex subject and it all kind of needs to tie together to be able to put the full picture together. And so that's what this mentorship is going to do. And I am stoked to be able to expedite the process for people to learn what I learned over, a long time span, condense it for them, and then really to be that person in their corner who's, number one, holding them accountable, and number two, cheering them on. Because it's tough, especially to take that jump. There's a lot of fear. There's a lot of mental stuff that goes into investing in real estate or investing in the market, investing anywhere. And so having that person who's kind of holding your hand and walking you through that process, I'm ready to be that guy for a lot of people. And I can't wait for it to come out.
Yeah, and that's so important too, because I know my first property I bought, buying real estate is not what you think buying real estate should be. Like back before I bought my first property, I'm like, oh, there's all these different things that are going to be obstacles. And then you go buy your first property, you're like, it's not that hard.
Yeah.
And having that person in your corner so they can kind of guide you and help you is important.
Agree 100%. I relate it to like riding a roller coaster for the first time. We're all so scared to get on, and then you ride it once and it's like, oh my gosh, you just keep riding it over and over. That was real estate. It's like, I was so scared to buy that first property. I mean, I can like physically feel the emotion that I felt before I bought the first one. And, but once you get it done, you're like, oh, somebody rented it within a week. They've paid their bills. They've been there 5 years. They haven't destroyed it. It's going up double from when I bought it. I'm making, $200 a month off of it. And you're like, why did I wait so long?
Yeah. 100%. Yeah, I still remember my first one too. I remember like trying to get it to close. Like just the nervousness of getting it to close. Is this thing actually going to close? Are we going to close this day? Are we going to close this day? Now it's
Dude,
just like whatever.
No, go ahead. I was just saying, I showed up. You talk about nervous. I showed up to my first closing with a personal check. Didn't even come with a cashier's check. I felt like the biggest fool ever. It was so embarrassing.
Yeah, and that's the fun stuff because you look back at it, and that's part of enjoying the ride too. Because I started looking, and I tell people too, especially like people buying their personal residence, they always get nervous. It's a big deal, which is cool. And I always look back, I'm like, man, like you're talking, enjoy that process. I enjoy the stressed out parts of it because you don't get to have that sensation a lot anymore.
Yep.
You know,
that is a good point.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. So if anyone wants to connect with you, what's the best way to get in touch?
The best way is through Instagram. So at Finance Cowboy on Instagram. That's where I'm most active. I'm on TikTok at the Finance Cowboy. You can hop on my website, financecowboy.com. And then I offer a free resource too. I put a web link with it that's easy to memorize for people. It literally is just a free resource that gives you 19 things that you need to check for before analyzing a rental property. So it gives you everything you need to pull together: taxes, insurance, HOAs, everything that you need to gather to be able to analyze a property correctly. And so I call it the 19-point checklist. If you go to 19pointchecklist.com, you can download that for free as well. But I love to connect. You guys can reach out, ask questions whenever, and I'll help however I can.
And if anyone's interested in the course, when are you launching that?
I don't have an exact date yet. I'm hoping mid-November. So I'm cutting it close. I'm finishing up recording Friday. So I should be done with all the audio stuff Friday, waiting on the guy to get it back to me, and then just got to put the finishing touches. I've looked at this course. I don't know if you've built one out before, but it's almost like rehabbing a home. It's like you can get the framing and all up quick, the outline and all. And then it's like when you start digging in and you're putting the finishing touches on it, it's like the finishing touches always take the longest when you're putting the trim on and you're painting and all that. And that's like where I'm at in the process, the least fun part, because it's like I've done the bulk. Like I've done the hard bulk stuff, but like the fine details, which I'm not good at anyways, are like sitting there lurking. And it's like you just want to be done. And so you just want to like cut corners, and I just have to like wake up every day, take a deep breath, say we're not cutting corners, do it right, even if it takes a little longer. So hopefully within the next, I'd say 3 to 4 weeks, we'll have that puppy launched, and there'll be ads going. We'll be, seeing it on Instagram. I'll put it everywhere I possibly can. So keep an eye out for that.
Nice. And then if anyone wants to get on a waiting list, they can just DM you on Instagram.
Exactly. DM me the word wait list. And it'll send you a link. You can just put your email in and we'll have it. There's going to be a huge discount for people on the wait list. This course, I'm not going to discount it. It's not going to be like hey, it's a weekend sale type of thing. Like this isn't your cheap course. This is a high ticket coaching mentorship program. And the only time I'm going to offer a discount is to people on the wait list. They're going to be the first ones to get in before it gets offered to anybody else. And they're going to get a great price, and they're going to be able to get the guinea pigs and give me all the feedback they possibly can so I can make it better. So if you want to be in on that front wave, please DM me wait list on Instagram. Thanks for bringing that up.
Yeah, no problem, man. Yeah, and thanks for coming on. We appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, good stuff. Hey, everyone listening, go check out his Instagram. Get on that wait list. And everyone listening, thanks for listening. Get out there, crush it, and close some deals.